one of the positive things that's happened in the British political scene in the last 2 or 3 years, while things have been, it's been a pretty grim time for political parties, what we have seen is a growth of a very interesting network of cross-party political forums. Here in southwest England, one of the most recent growths of that forum movement have been the Southwest Forum, whose organiser, Julie Lake, from this city of Bristol, where we are today, sadly can't be with us today because only a few days ago, after a long illness bravely borne, her husband Peter Lake, a fellow patriot, a fellow dedicated patriot, sadly died. So at the start of this second half of the meeting, we should, it's appropriate when introducing our next speaker to remember the legacy of that dedicated patriot, Peter Lake, a legacy that his widow pledges to carry on. She will be carrying forward the torch of freedom, the torch of patriotism in this part of the world, and we look forward to many more Southwest Forum events, to many more inspiring teams of speakers being brought together in this part of the world by Julie. But we of course stand here today and remember the legacy of her husband and her tragic loss. It's appropriate to mention that at this moment because our next speaker is the man who more than anyone else is associated with the growth of that cross-party forum movement, who has organised a whole series of events in central London, in prestigious venues in central London, bringing together speakers from a wide range of different political tendencies, different movements, different national backgrounds in the London Forum. Not only that, but that London Forum has spawned events in Wales with Milton Ellis, who's here present, in Yorkshire with Liam Kernaghan, who's here present. I know quite a few of the people in the audience today have attended those forum events in different parts of the United Kingdom. So without further ado, please welcome the next speaker at today's event, a man who himself knows about the business of standing up for Queen and country as an ex-serviceman, as a man who served in several countries with the Royal Corps of Signals. Ladies and gentlemen, Jez Turner.
Governments do not govern, they merely control the machinery of government, being themselves controlled by the hidden hand. It was true when Disraeli wrote it, and it is even truer now with the control of the mass media and the international global financial system. All healthy nations and peoples remember and honour their fallen. But there is a hidden pressure in Britain from the hidden hand, the deep state, not to remember certain fallen servicemen. To forget the 1,000 British soldiers, policemen, civil servants, and civilians who were killed in Palestine by the Zionists. And there is similar pressure in America to forget the victims who died on the USS Liberty, whose anniversary is this year. So why is this? Well, the simple reason is those who died share the same cause that we have. Their cause is our cause. And even remembering their sacrifice, their murder, is in itself a blow against the New World Order, a blow struck for identity against globalism, for freedom against a one-world slave state. And yet, it is true to say that many patriots, so-called patriots, seem to want to also forget these victims. They want to forget the victims of Zionist terrorism. They want to forget who really controls the world. They want to forget who is behind the liberal agenda that is destroying our civilization. And they do this for money, because they're cowards, or because they're ignorant or stupid. These people call themselves civic nationalists. They call themselves pro-Zionist patriots or pro-Israeli patriots. Or they just ignore that issue altogether. This is because they've got their priorities all wrong. I once had a conversation in central London with a so-called nationalist who was a civic nationalist. He was complaining about people putting rubbish onto the streets in the wrong coloured bin bag. And I said, you've got your priorities wrong. You're worried about garbage, all well and good. But what about the human garbage that the New World Order is dumping on these shores? And so with their understanding all wrong, their answers, their solutions are all wrong as well. And why is it there are so few good people left, so few good men and women left? Well, we fought many, many wars, my friends, over the years. And the dysgenic effects of these wars, the wars that we fought on behalf of the so-called British Empire, but which was really the Rothschild Empire. The First World War, a complete and utter genocide of Europe's best people. The Second World War, the Korean War, and it goes on and on today with the wars in the Middle East. Not fought for the white race, not fought for Europe, not fought for Britain, but fought for Zionism. True nationalists, those who really want to fight evil, will fight it whatever the consequences. And that means they must, they should fight Zionism. And it's a worldwide fight. We fight evil, and it's a worldwide fight against evil. Let me read you a few quotes. Freedom is the right to do that which the law allows. All freedom will be in our hands, since the laws will abolish or create only that which is desirable for us. The law will be in our hands. So much for free speech. Second paragraph I'll quote for you. It will be no disgrace to be a spy or an informer, but a merit. In our plan, one third of the population will keep the rest under observation from a sense of duty, on the principle of volunteer service to the state. So what else is that but political correctness? And a third quote. There remains a small space to cross, and the whole long path we have trodden is ready now to close its cycle of the symbolic snake by which we symbolize our people. When the ring closes, all the states of Europe will be locked in our powerful vice. So much for the European Union and their flag. And where do these quotes come from? They are from the Protocols of the Elders of Zion. Protocols 12, 3 and 17. If you ask about the Protocols of Zion, the liberals, the Jews will tell you that they were considered to be a forgery at a court in Bern in Switzerland. What they don't tell you is that at the same court, sometime later, on appeal, they were proved to be not a forgery. And I have to thank for that piece of information Lieutenant Colonel Creagh Scott, DSO OBE, a brave man, a soldier. And his book, Hidden Government, is now in its 5th edition and it's published by Candour Press. And I have to say, I'm glad to say, that his grandson is in the room today.
Very good.
And his great-grandson. You see, people are waking up. All they need is the truth expressed articulately, eloquently, and fearlessly. Now, because we are engaged in a worldwide fight, there is no point just freeing England, like good King Edward I did. There is no point just freeing Jerusalem or Palestine, like General Allenby did in 1917. And as an aside, General Allenby, the Turks let him enter the city because his name to them meant Allah, Bey, God, Lord. They thought he was a prophet, so they let him in. So read Isaiah chapter 3, verse 15, all about that. There is no point just freeing one country or one region from Jewish control. No point freeing one hemisphere from Jewish control. No, my friends, we have to free the entire world from Jewish control. Now, we're fighting evil on many fronts, an evil which has many, many, many names. Bolshevism, anarchism, communism, capitalism, liberalism, feminism, multiracialism, Zionism, materialism, Satanism. All these ideologies create hell on earth. All these ideologies lead straight to hell. And it doesn't matter what your religious beliefs are. So let's call it Satanism as a hold-all, catch-all phrase. Being an atheist does not protect you from this evil. Secularism is no defense against Satanism. Materialism, consumerism, offers no spiritual defense against Satanism. This struggle we're involved in has also got to be spiritual. We have to find a way to reignite the souls and the spirits of our people. If you read Evelyn Waugh's book, Sword of Honour, there is a scene where he travels to a church in Italy to visit the tomb of a warrior who died on the way to the Holy Land. This is a warrior, a knight, an ancestor of his. And he goes into the church and he lays his hand on the tomb. And he says, "Sir Roger, pray for me and our kingdom, which is in so much peril." You see, back in the Middle Ages, any warrior who died in the Holy Land or on the way to the Holy Land went straight to heaven. And as such, he had the power to intercede for us, to pray for us, to look down upon us, to give us succor, to give us aid, to give us inspiration. And this ties in with the traditional view of all societies, that anyone who dies for their race, for their nation, for their religion, for their culture, will also go straight to the Elysian fields, straight to Valhalla, straight to heaven. Pray for me, Sir Roger, pray for me and our endangered kingdom. Because These heroes of ours, these martyrs, these warriors of the past, their cause is our cause. And with their example in mind, we should go forward, my friends. We should go forward, and we should never give up. We should never give in. And in spite of all the odds, then we will win. Thank you very much.